a lot of what is missing from contemporary conversations about technology is history, a sense of history. Sometimes it's the deep history, sometimes it's the history of 50 years ago. And I think that's the case with social media. We forget who made the internet and how they made it. The internet was made as a collaboration between private industry and technology, the internet was made as a collaboration between private industry, the military, and academia. It was made in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in a small company that still exists, that was mostly, its function was mostly to make acoustic technology. But somehow they got this crazy military contract. And the important thing to remember about these guys, the guys who were the architects of the internet and the PC revolution in general, was they were hippies. They were stone cold hippies, these guys. They were real counterculture types. And they had this wonderful dream about a social experiment in which everybody was equal and nobody had to know your name. And we all existed in this wonderful kind of anarchical commune. And they built the internet that way. That was the template for the architecture of the internet. It is a world in which it's very easy to be anonymous. It's a world in which all computers are equal. That was the big engineering problem of the internet. They talked a lot about it. Well, who's going to run this thing? Nobody wanted to run it because that would take a lot of mainframe time, which was really expensive. So they figured out, well, all computers will be equal, and they will all talk to each other, and no one will be the leader, and no one will be in charge. And it was a wonderful dream, and it completely failed. It was not a good idea in the end, especially when we started moving more and more of our lives online in the 90s. Suddenly we were using the net for things it was never built for socializing, dating, shopping, banking, and it became this hive for scammers and pornographers and criminals. It was not built to carry the kind of traffic we were putting over it. And then, so in a funny way, we restaged the social experiments of the 60s online, on the internet, 2 decades later, and they ended more or less the same way. Then you have the arrival of a new generation, people like Zuckerberg, these architects of social media. And what they did basically was to do their best to undo or cover up the work of those 1960s programmers who built the internet as an ideal commune, where you could leave your old self behind and just be equal with everybody else. They decided, no, we're going to bring all that social stuff online. We're doing it anyway, we might as well do it properly. We're going to bring, so that when you go online now, everybody's going to know where you work. They'll know who you are, who you're married to, are you straight, are you gay, how many dogs do you have, where did you go to college. All that stuff that the internet was built to leave behind got brought back to us in the form of Facebook. So they kind of retrofitted the internet with all this information that it wasn't really built to carry. And as a result, it does an okay job of managing our social lives, but not a great one. And I think, looking forward, trying to understand how social media is going to evolve, we have to know that the DNA of social media is this crazy 60s DNA, and that I don't think we'll ever quite leave behind.